Flammery, I love how passionate you are about this. I would really like to be a composer when I'm older. Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad. Yes, this is something I'm very, very passionate about. And something I'd say is like, you don't have to wait to be older to be a composer. I know you're probably saying you'd like to be a professional composer, and that is amazing. That is wonderful. And everyone who wants to be a professional composer, I say go for it. You got it. Like, what do you have to lose? Try it. But something else I would like to say to everyone is you don't have to be a professional to be a good composer. Some of the greatest composers in history weren't professionals. Rimsky-Korsakov, one of the fathers of modern musical education for composers, started off part-time. He started off as, I believe, like a military officer. One of my biggest things is when I was starting, there was this, at least in my life, there was this pervasive belief that composing was something you had to be born with. And to this day, it really pisses me off anytime I hear someone say that. I had the great privilege and honor of having a subscriber who is 70 years old, 70, and lives in Florida, email me a few weeks ago and saying basically thank you, and saying that I had helped him realize a lifelong dream. When he was a kid, he had taken piano lessons for years, and he knew he wanted to be a composer. When he was younger, he took piano lessons for years, and he always wanted to learn how to compose. That was his main goal. But he never did, because when he asked his teacher, she told him that composing was something you had to be born with. If he didn't know how to write music, then he never would. Which is just bullcrap. What that tells me is that the teacher, she may have been a wonderful piano teacher, but she just didn't know how to teach composing, and she didn't know how to say that. And so rather than admit she didn't have the skills or knowledge necessary to teach musical composition, she just pretended like it was something that couldn't be taught, even though historically every great composer has had a teacher, a mentor. Mozart took lessons from Haydn. So did Beethoven. Stravinsky was a student of Korsakov. There is like every major composer, almost every major composer had someone or some place, like a whole music school, where they learned musical composition. It's a skill. It's a craft. You can learn how to compose. And so I'm on my soapbox saying that one of my biggest goals is to basically make musical composing, especially composing for the orchestra, a viable hobby. So that someone can say, hey, you know what? I want to learn how to write for the orchestra, and that's what I want to spend my free time doing. The same way that I have a friend who picked up pottery. She just decided one day, hey, they teach lessons at the community center for pottery. I want to do that. That sounds fun. And now she loves doing pottery. I have friends who love to cook. I have friends who love video games. I have friends who love writing books or playing D&D or doing any kind of hobby. And I want music composition, specifically orchestral writing, to be a viable hobby. That no one says, hey, I want to pick up pottery. And then no one goes, oh, well, that's something you have to be born with. You can't be taught pottery. No. No one says that. If you say that you want to learn how to draw, no one says, oh, well, you have to be born with it. It's impossible to be taught how to draw. It's like, no, of course not. And it's the same with music. You can learn. I learned incredibly quickly. I was 22 when I wrote my very first piece of music. I am now 29 and a professional composer. All right? It's possible. You can learn. You can develop. You can teach yourself. You can, especially if you have a good teacher. Speaking of which, having a good teacher, guess what, people? I'm a good teacher. I like to think so. I have 300 videos on YouTube, and I have more. And I also have books. The best resource for teaching yourself is The Musical Storyteller. This one right here is my music composition textbook. It's on sale for the holidays. Everything is on sale for the holidays. Table of contents, you can find it right here. 36 chapters, over 400 pages long, of basically a self-guided study teaching you how to start from the very beginning of reading sheet music all the way to the very end, creating realistic performances for orchestral music in your own computer. Writing for instruments, writing interesting chord progressions, and all of it, all of this music theory, all of these skills and trades and craftsmanship are all unified with the simple idea of how do you tell stories with your music. From memory, Tchaikovsky was 22 before he started composing. I did not know that. That's awesome. Yes, so you can always start a little late. Like I said, I was almost 6 years in studying to be a therapist. I went to school to be a therapist. I had 4 years of psychology. And then my master's degree in social work. It was only then that I realized, oh, I'm not cut out for this. What should I do? And then I heard Joe Hisaishi's music playing on my phone while I was cleaning the kitchen one day. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. It was the theme from A Castle in the Sky. So if you ever want to look that one up, a beautiful, beautiful arrangement, beautiful piece of music. And that's what inspired me to be a composer. And because I'm very much a dive in head first kind of person, and I'm very much a don't stop unless I die kind of person, I was able to push forward, do a lot of stupid things, take a lot of stupid bets on myself, and somehow find myself in a place where I can now do this for a living, which is really, really cool. I am definitely incredibly blessed and very grateful.